What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today I'm going to talk about something that Dragon Ball kind of gets criticized for by a lot of people, and simultaneously an idea that applies to all fighting games. These two things actually connect together so well that I decided to put them in the same video. Okay. Why? Why do people say that a lot of the Dragon Ball characters play so similarly? This was one of the biggest complaints about Dragon Ball FighterZ when the game came out, that all the characters kind of play samey, kind of play similarly, they all kind of zone the same, they all have similar tools. And one thing that they tried really hard in this game to do is actually make the characters more different. This was the biggest thing between Season 1 and Season 2 character-wise, of dropping the multi-supers like Kid Buu, then SJ Vegeta level 1, then SJ level 1 again, and then Cell. Like, the main reason why they changed that and made characters have more unique combo routes and stuff like that, that was a really good band-aid. But still, that complaint is there. Why do characters feel so similar? And it actually goes to an idea that applies to all fighting games, because everyone pretty much has the same win condition in Dragon Ball. There's not that many win conditions in Dragon Ball. And you might ask, okay, what do you mean by win condition? Everyone has the same win condition in every game. It's you take their life bar to 0. And I would be like, yes, and also no. Because when I talk about win conditions, I'm more talking about how you go about winning that round, winning that game, taking that character, whatever. How a character goes about doing that. In a game like, let's say, Guilty Gear, Guilty Gear is very current because of Strive. We don't call it 2020 anymore. It's Guilty Gear Strive. Characters, yeah, all the characters are super rushdowny and aggressive, but you have like your aggressive zoners like Dizzy and Axel, and you have like Jacko, she's a summoner, so she wants to get all her boys out to mess you up, and then Milia, like, she doesn't do a lot of damage all the time, but she knocks you down and mixes you up, and she does crazy damage off that. There are people who play mid-range like Kai. There's a lot of different ways to win in that game. That's what makes the characters feel so unique. Even if there's, let's say, only 6 or 7 ways to win in the game, spread out amongst like 20 characters with different tools, you can make the characters feel very unique. That's what Guilty Gear is super good at. In Dragon Ball, though, one thing about this game is that there's just really not a lot of win conditions. There's not a lot of zoners, for example. Let's say you have, like, Frieza, you have 21, you have Broly, you have 3 zoners, let's say. They still kind of do it all the same, and even like the way they zone, everyone else zones. Like, everyone can fire a Keyblast. Like, Broly's not the only character with a good Keyblast. Frieza's not the only character with a good Keyblast. Like, everyone can throw Keyblasts, right? And even with that in mind, the zoners have to play with Super Dash in mind, just like everyone else, even if their zoning tools are better than everyone else's. So they kind of go about it in a similar-ish way to, like, even like a character like Bardock or something, right? Ginyu is kind of unique because he's a summoner. Ginyu and Nappa are kind of unique because they're summoners, so their whole plan is getting summoning out to enforce their game plan. But outside of characters like that, and then the zoners, basically everyone has a pretty similar game plan. And the way teams are unique is what the assists do to the team. This is why people who play the game, like, a lot, they kind of don't totally feel that way. So, like, let's say, yeah, everyone plays Bardock, but you don't play Bardock Trunks the way you play Bardock Beam, the way you play Bardock Yamcha. Like, you play them kind of differently, but the characters individually kind of go about things in the same way, because there's really only one win condition in Dragon Ball. Zoning is not that great, and the return is not that high. The summoners suck. They win with their summons, but they suck. I'm sorry. So basically, everyone kind of plays like I have my safe projectile, I have my lunging move, I have my assist to help me get it, I touch you, I do unsafe moves, kinda, I mix you up sometimes, and then eventually I kill you for either overextending or guessing wrong. Basically everyone wins the same. Different fighting games have different win conditions, usually spread out by characters and stuff like that. So, like in a Street Fighter, you have like your zoner, Guile, and you have your rushdown character, Cammy, and you have your all-around guy, Ryu. Like, you have characters that do different things. In team games, it's kind of more about the goal, but even then, like, individual characters can have their own uniqueness. This is what Marvel is really good at. Specifically in Dragon Ball, everyone having the same win condition-ish, right? Because there's not really that many. There's some characters that win by snapping you. These are the extreme set play characters. This is like Piccolo and stuff like that. Then you have your summoners, like I said. You have a couple of zoners, and the rest of the characters are all kind of like all ranges, all-rounders with like their unique tools, but because the devs know what's good in the game, like moves like this are good in the game, so the characters that do have it and they've gotten buffed, like that's like a tool that everyone has that you can use with assists kind of the same way. And what it ends up turning into is you just kind of navigate neutral with your assists to get in and just do damage. Is this a good thing or bad thing? It kind of depends. So a lot of the flavor of the game comes from what assists people pick. So it does kind of encourage you to pick different assists, but since it's a team game, people are going to pick the same assists, so it can make the game a little stale. It is good for new people though, because having a lot of win conditions is kind of confusing, and some of them are really, really hard for new people to deal with. So if I'm gonna use Guilty Gear again as an example, but one like really, really recurring win condition that characters have is that their pressure, right? So we're used to like stagger pressure, right? We're used to this. But in GG, there are characters who have moves like this that are plus that, yeah, you have responses to, but it's hard to deal with. You have to guess and do it early, and if you're wrong, you take a lot of damage. That is pretty hard for somebody to deal with. Or like dealing with a new zoner, like take Grand Blue Fantasy, right? Fairy, a lot of people said Fairy is really overwhelming, but one of the reasons why she's so overwhelming is because she's a defensive character. It's hard for new people to deal with defensive characters from the jump until you really break the character down and be like, this is how I'm going to move against this character. So by having fewer win conditions, remember, it's just snap, and snap is hard to optimize. Very annoying and obnoxious for new people, but it's difficult to truly make a good snap team where it's literally all you do. Zoning, and like we said, zoning is there, but the return is not high, so even though it's annoying, you're not dying from it, as opposed to like a Venom or a Dizzy, who they literally beat you by running away from you. Then you have your summoners, who are bad, and then you have just your all-rounders. By having less win conditions, it makes it not just easier for people to get into the game, there's less obnoxious stuff for them to deal with, and they get what everyone is doing quicker. The downside is the individual characters feel more homogenous. So it just depends on what side you're on. I'm kind of like in the middle because I played enough teams that I've just had a lot of taste of different characters of what you could do in the game. Like I played Ginyu, I played Majin Buu, I played Yamcha, I played Bardock, I played Trunks, I played Kid Buu. I've been all over the place in the tiers, right? So I have an idea, and I've gotten to try all sorts of game plans, because remember, it's the assists that add the flavor to your team more than like the individual characters, right? But if you don't do that because either you don't care, you don't want to, you don't have time, you don't like the characters, all sorts of reasons, then you're going to definitely feel like the characters feel the same. Okay, let me know what you think about that. If you have any opinions on stuff like that, do you think I'm over-exaggerating about the similarities between the characters? Do you want me to talk more about different win conditions in different fighting games? Because there's not that many, but it's kind of interesting to explore. What do you think they should do if you feel like the characters are kind of similar? Because again, I feel like the characters are kind of similar, but assists add flavor to the team. So a lot of the teams I've made, I've tried to make them unique. That was my whole goal in team building, is to try to make a unique team that is also strong and can win. That's been my goal from the jump of Dragon Ball. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.